A woman puts a knife into her own heart. For men watch. By the next night, the gates of Rome are shut against the king. 509 BC. A town called Collatia. This is Roman nights. We go back. We listen. We stay a while. Some years before the knife. A king holds the 7 hills. No one asked for him. 1. The king who was not asked for. The palace on the hill keeps its lamps burning all night. Not for light, for watching. The king does not sleep the way other men sleep. He sleeps behind guards. He sleeps behind doors that other men check twice. There was a king before him who walked the city alone. That king is dead. This king learns the lesson the body taught. His name is Lucius Tarquinius. The city has started calling him something else. Superbus, the proud. It is not a name a man gives himself. It is a name a city gives a man it cannot say no to. He came to the throne the way a man comes to a house he has broken into. He killed the king before him. That king was his wife's father. The old man's body lies in the street. His own daughter drives her cart over it on the way home. The wheel did what wheels do. The story is on the city's tongue, and the city has not washed it out. That is how the reign began. Everyone in Rome knows it. The knowing is the point. He rules the way a man holds a knife he does not trust. Carefully, with both hands. The Senate met often under the old kings. It does not meet often now. The king calls it when he wants it and not before. When he does call it, the room is smaller than it used to be. There are empty places on the benches. The men who sat in them are gone. Some are dead. Some left the city while they still could. He does not fill the empty seats. He has learned a thing the old kings never learned. A small senate is a quiet senate. A quiet senate does not ask where a man went. There were 300 senators once. The king has not counted them in years. He does not need the number. He needs the silence. The number takes care of itself. The king before him counted people. He counted them into classes, into the army, into the roles. To be counted was to be someone. This king counts the other way. He counts men out of the Senate, out of the city, out of the morning. To be counted by this king is the last thing that happens to you. The people he keeps differently. He keeps them tired. There is stone going up on the Capitol. A great temple, the largest the city has seen, raised to Jupiter on the highest hill. A tunnel goes down too. A stone throat under the Forum, made to carry the marsh water to the river. The cloaca. Both eat men by the 100. You can see them from the lower city. Lines of men on the hill, moving stone that does not want to be moved. Up at dawn, down at dark. The same backs, the same baskets, day after day, season after season, until a man's whole year is the weight of rock and the length of a rope. Some of them are farmers who had land before the king finds a use for them. The land does not stop needing them while they are on the hill. It just goes quiet. Then it goes to weeds. Then it goes to someone else. A man can lose a farm without ever leaving the city. He only has to be needed somewhere else for long enough. No one is paid for this in coin. They are paid in the knowledge that the alternative is worse. That is the only wage the king has ever offered, and it is the only one he has ever needed. The work is not paid the way work was once paid. The poor carry the stone because the king says carry it. The king before him loved the poor. He let them into the army, into the count, into the bones of the city. This king does not love them. He uses them. He builds in stone what he cannot hold by love. Stone lasts longer than love. He has decided this. He may even be right. The temple will outlast him. He knows this and it pleases him. A man can be hated and still be built into the skyline. Hate does not pull down a temple. It walks under it on the way to market. The king has thought about this more than he has thought about being loved. Tonight there is a name in his mind. He turns it over the way a man turns a coin in the dark, by feel. The man has a name and a house and a place on the bench. He has a wife who will wake to an empty bed. He has spent 30 years being careful and 1 season being honest. The careful years saved him. The honest season did not. He is one of the old king's men. He remembers the old days out loud, which is the same as remembering them in front of the wrong people. He has said more than once that a king should call his senate. He said it as advice. Advice is the most dangerous thing a man can offer a king who did not ask. The king does not call the senate to discuss it. That is the whole of it. That is the lesson the empty benches were teaching all along. He sits in his own house. 2 men sit with him. They do what he says and they ask nothing. He gives them the name. He does not say the word for it. He does not need the word. He gives the name and a look, and the men read the look. There was a king once who taught this city to read silence. His son will teach the whole city the same lesson. Later, with a garden, a stick, and the tallest flowers, the father teaches it first. In a room, with 1 name, the 2 men rise when he is done. They take their cloaks. The night outside is cold. The streets are empty the way they are always empty now after dark. People have learned that the dark belongs to the king's men. They stay behind their own doors and leave the dark to those who want it. By morning the man is gone. There is no body to bury and no story to tell. There is only an absence shaped exactly like a man, in the place where he used to be. His wife will ask. For a while she will ask. People will look at the floor and find somewhere else to be. Then she will stop asking because she will understand that asking is its own kind of danger. That a question about 1 disappearance is the surest way to arrange a second. She will wear the not asking like everyone else in Rome wears it. As a skin, as a way of staying alive in a city that has made silence the price of breathing. His house is quiet. His seat in the Senate stays empty. No one asks where he went. No one is willing to be the one who asks. That is how the king rules. Not with armies in the forum. With the question no one will say out loud. The city has learned how this works. Not from being told. From the empty seats and the quiet houses. A man learns to watch his own mouth the way he learns to watch a step in the dark. He does not decide to do it. He simply stops falling. The lamps burn on the hill. The guards stand where the guards stand. He is not afraid of the Senate. The Senate is a room of frightened old men. He is not afraid of the people. The people are too tired to be afraid of anything but tomorrow's stone. There is one thing. He does not say it even alone. He is afraid of his own house. He is afraid of the boys who carry his name and his blood. A man who took a throne by killing knows how a throne is taken. He of all men knows. He has sons. 3 of them. He has a nephew too, somewhere in the house. A simple-minded boy who poses no threat to anyone. The sons he watches. The nephew he forgets. Forgetting is a kind of safety the boy has earned. The king does not know he has handed it to him. The men check the doors. They check them twice. He has them do it every night. Below the hill the river moves the way it has always moved. It does not care who sleeps behind guards. It will be there when the gates are shut. It will be there after. 2. The tallest Poppies. Gabii is a day's walk east of Rome. It has its own walls, its own council, its own way of doing things. It has held out against the king for years. Rome wants it. Rome has not taken it. Walls are expensive to climb. The king's youngest son arrives at the gate with his back in ribbons. His name is Sextus. He says his father has beaten him. He says the king beats all his sons, but him worst of all. He shows the marks. He had them made before he came. A man will believe a wound he can see. Gabii opens the gate. Here is the thing about a man who hates his father out loud. He is easy to trust. Hatred is a coin everyone knows. Gabii looks at the prince with the ruined back and sees an enemy of their enemy. That is the oldest reason in the world to open a door. Sextus is good at this. Better than his father in some ways. The father rules by being feared. The son rules by being believed. Fear keeps a door shut. Belief opens it from the inside. The difference matters because the whole story turns on it later. The father is a blunt instrument. He kills, he takes, he frightens, and everyone can see exactly what he is. You hate him cleanly. The son is something newer and worse. He makes you love him first. He gives you reasons. He lets you think the door was your idea. By the time you understand what he is, you have already helped him. The father takes a city with an army. The son takes it with a smile and a self-inflicted wound. Of the two, the son is the more dangerous one. Gabii is about to learn that. So is a woman who has not met him yet. He gives them victories. He leads their raids against Roman land and wins them. The wins are arranged. His father sends out weak men to lose on purpose. The raids are real enough from the ground. Men go out in the dark. Men do not all come back. The Roman farms burn the way farms burn. Slow at first, then all at once. Gabii counts its winnings in the morning and counts Sextus as the reason. They do not count the Roman dead. The dead were sent to die. No one tells Gabii that part. They make him their war leader. They give him the army. They give him the city by degrees, the way you give a thing to someone you have stopped watching. Costs him something to be this man. Not much, but something. He plays the wronged son at their tables every night. He lets the old men of Gabii put a hand on his shoulder. They tell him he is safe now. He thanks them. He means none of it. There is a kind of man who can wear a face for years. He never feels it press on him. Sextus is that kind. The wearing does not tire him. That is the thing to be afraid of in a man if you knew to look. Takes time, this kind of work. That is the part the clever telling leaves out. It is not one bold lie. It is 1,000 small plausible days, stacked one on the next, until the weight of them passes for trust. He eats their bread through a whole winter. He learns their children's names. He stands at the funerals of men he is helping to die, and he wears the right face. A bold man could not do it. Boldness gets impatient. This takes the opposite of boldness. It takes a man who can hold a single intention, unmoving, while the seasons turn over it. A man who feels nothing pulling him off it. Most men cannot. They get bored or guilty or afraid, and the mask slips. His does not slip. He has nothing behind it that wants out. Then he sends a man to Rome, to his father. One question. The city is mine in all but name. What do I do with the men who still matter here? The men with their own followings. The men a city listens to. The messenger finds the king in his garden. It is evening. The king is walking among the poppies. They are tall that year, taller than a man's waist, heavy in the head. The messenger gives his question. He waits for an answer. The king does not answer. He keeps walking. He has a stick in his hand. As he walks, he swings it easy, almost idle, and the heads of the tallest poppies come off. One, then another, then another. The tall ones, always the tall ones. The seed scatters on the ground. He says nothing the whole time. He does not look at the messenger once. There is a thing kings learn if they last. The most dangerous order is the one you can be quoted on. A letter can be read by the wrong eyes. A spoken command can be repeated by a frightened man. But a walk in a garden, a few flowers cut on an evening, who can be hanged for that? The king has lasted a long time. He learned this early. When the tallest are down, the garden looks even. That is the only word for it. Even. The king seems pleased by it, the way some men are pleased by a straight line. He turns and goes inside. The audience is over. No word was given because no word was needed. A man who needs to be told the meaning of a thing was never going to be useful for it. The messenger walks back to Gabii with nothing. No order. No letter. He is angry the whole way. He has carried an important question across a day's road, and the old man would not even speak. He tells Sextus exactly that. The king said nothing. The king walked in his garden and knocked the heads off his flowers like a bored child. Sextus listens. Sextus understands at once. He does not explain it to the messenger. Why would he? He thanks the man and sends him to rest. Then he begins. The first to go is the man who opened the gate to him, the one who vouched for the wounded prince when the council wanted to turn him away. He had a following. A following is a height. Sextus eats at his table 1 week and accuses him the next. The man does not understand what he did wrong. He did nothing wrong. He was tall. That was the whole of his crime, and it was enough. One by one, the rest who matter come to harm. Some are accused. Some are exiled. Some simply stop being seen. Their property goes to Sextus, or to the men Sextus trusts. He uses the laws where there are laws, and the dark where there are not. The tall ones come down. The city grows even. When there is no one left who could lead Gabii against him, Sextus hands the whole city to his father. No siege, no ladders against the wall, no army worth the name. A father asked a son to take a city. The son took it with a question and a garden full of dead flowers. There is a treaty made. Rome and Gabii joined. It gets written on a shield of ox hide and kept in a temple, so the city can point to it later, so it can say this was done lawfully. The shield will outlast everyone who lied to make it. That is what shields are for. Gabii becomes Roman. The story of the Poppies gets told for a long time after. People tell it as cleverness. A clever king, a clever son, a city won without a fight. They tell it that way because the other way of telling it is harder to live beside. Here is the other way. A man learned, young, that the tallest thing in any room is the thing that gets cut. He learned it from his father in a garden without a single word. He will carry that lesson the rest of his short life. He will use it on cities. One night, not long from now, he will use it on a woman. She did nothing but be admired in the wrong house. He does not know that yet. Neither does she. 9 books. Then 6, then 3. This is a story Rome kept. It is not in the careful histories. It is in the older place, the place where a city stores the things it half believes. Take it the way Rome took it, as a thing that might be true told by people who needed it to be. An old woman comes to the palace. No one knows where she is from. Later they will say Cumae, the old Greek town on the bay. There a woman sits in a cave, and the god speaks through her. For now she is only an old woman at the door with a bundle. She does not look like prophecy. That is the first surprise. Prophecy, in the mind, wears robes and rolls its eyes back. This is an old woman with dust on her feet and a bundle held against her chest. She holds it the way you hold a child, or a thing worth more than a child. She is very still. People who wait a long time learn to be still. She has the stillness of someone who already knows how this ends. She is only here to let it happen. There are versions of this woman all over the old world. The Greeks called her the Sibyl. She sat in a cave at Cumae, on the bay of smoke and sulfur. She breathed something that came up out of the rock. She spoke for the god, in riddles no one liked. People came to her the way people come to anything that frightens them and might also save them. She did not bargain. She did not flatter. A king was the same to her as a farmer, which is to say, a brief thing passing. She had seen kings before. She would see them after. The bundle in her arms was older than his throne, and would be there when his line was a story told to children. He did not know any of that. Looking at the dust on her feet, he saw an old woman with a high price. He was about to find out which of them was actually selling. The bundle is books, 9 of them, rolls of writing, wrapped and worn. She wants to see the king. They let her in the way you let in anything strange enough to be interesting. She stands in front of Superbus and tells him what she has. 9 books. Inside them, she says, is the future of Rome. Every turning, every danger. What to do when the gods are angry and the city does not know why. She names a price. The price is enormous. It is the kind of number that makes a room go quiet. The king laughs. He is a practical man about some things. He will spend a fortune on a temple he can see. He will not spend one on an old woman's bundle of claims. He says no. The woman does not argue. She does not lower the price. She turns, without hurry, to the fire burning in the room. She takes 3 of the 9 books. She puts them in the flames. The room watches them burn. Old writing goes fast. The edges curl and brown. Soon there is nothing to read. Soon there is nothing at all. Smoke, the smell of it. 3 books of the future of Rome gone. Gone in the time it takes to feel the heat on your face. No one in the room moves to stop her. That is the strange part, told later. A fortune is burning and a king is watching and not one hand goes out. Maybe they think it is a trick. Maybe a part of them wants to see how far she will go. People will let a great deal burn, if they are curious enough about the fire. She turns back. 6 books now. The price, she says, is the same. Here is where it becomes a story about a king, and not about books. He heard the same number for less than he was offered before. Any merchant would call that an affront. The king is proud, and pride does its arithmetic out loud. 6 for the price of 9. The woman is mad or she is cheating him. Either way, a king does not pay more for less. This is the trap, though he cannot see it yet. Pride only knows how to count one way. It counts what it would lose by being made a fool. Cannot count what it loses by being right too long. The woman is not selling books. She is selling the difference between those two sums. The king is the only man in the room still doing the wrong arithmetic. He says no again. He is almost amused now. Almost. She turns to the fire again. 3 more books. In they go. This time the room does not find it funny. 3 left. The same price still. A price first asked for 9. Now asked for 3. Asked by a woman who just burned 2/3 of what she came to sell. She has not blinked once. The king stops being amused. He sends for his priests. The men who read birds and lightning. The men whose work is knowing when a thing is more than it looks. They come. They look at the old woman and the 3 rolls and the ash on the floor. They tell the king what he has already started to feel in the back of his neck. Buy them, whatever they cost. A thing a person will burn rather than discount is a thing that was never really for sale. It was a test. He has been failing it in public. There is a particular silence that falls on a powerful man at a certain moment. The moment he realizes he has been wrong in front of people. The king feels it now. He has spent the whole evening being the cleverest man in the room, the one who would not be fooled. And the old woman has let him be that man right up to the edge of a cliff. Every refusal he was so pleased with was a step closer to the fire. Now there are 3 books where there were 9. And the only way to stop looking like a fool is to pay the fool's price. He has no good move left. The woman arranged it so. She did not argue him into it. She let his own pride walk him there, one confident no at a time. Then she stood aside and let him see where he was standing. He pays the full price. The price first asked for 9 books, now paid for 3. The woman takes the money and goes. No one sees where. The story does not give her an ending. Stories like this rarely do. What the room remembers is the smell. Long after, the men who were there would catch the smell of burning paper somewhere. Careless lamp. A letter thrown on coals. And they would be back in that evening. The price of being proud, in their noses again. Some smells are just smells. This one became a lesson the body kept when the mind tried to file it as cleverness. The 3 books go into a stone chamber under the temple on the Capitol, the great one still going up. They get guards. They get a college of men. Their only task is to keep the books. And, when Rome is truly afraid, to open them. For the next 500 years, the city will come back to them. Every time it loses its way, someone climbs to that chamber. He unrolls what is left. Rome will read them through plague, through defeat, through fire. 3 books where there were 9. Brutus will know those books. Years from now, the king will be gone and Rome will be something new. The men who guard the 3 rolls will answer to the city instead of the crown. The books outlast the man who bought them. That is the quiet joke of the whole evening. The proudest king Rome ever had paid a fortune to keep the future safe. And the future he was keeping safe was the one without him in it. He bought the instrument his enemies would use. He could not have known. No one in that room could have known. The old woman, perhaps. She had the stillness of someone who already knew how everything ends, and only came to let it happen. No one ever found the other 6. That is the part the priests did not like to think about. Somewhere, in ash and smoke, 2/3 of what Rome was promised about itself was gone. Gone on an ordinary evening. It did not come back. The city would meet trouble in the centuries ahead that the lost books might have named. It would meet that trouble blind. It had been given the chance to know. It had haggled. The lesson got told as cleverness, the way the Poppies got told as cleverness. A wise king who knew at the last moment to buy. But there is a colder line in it, and the city kept that too. Lower down, where it kept the things it did not say at dinner. The future has a price. The price does not wait for you to be ready. Every time you say no, it burns a little of itself and asks the same again for less. The longer you are proud, the less future you can buy. The king learned that in one evening, over a fire, from a woman whose name no one wrote down. He would have other lessons. They would not all come so cheap. 4. The snake in the column. A snake comes out of a wooden pillar in the palace. That is the kind of thing that ends a man's sleep. Not a snake in the garden where snakes belong. A snake from inside a pillar. From the dry heart of a beam that holds the roof up. It slides out into the hall where the king takes his meals. In front of people. In daylight. It is gone before anyone can say what it means. Everyone knows what it means. They just do not want to be the one to say. The king is not a religious man exactly. He prays the way he pays for temples. As an investment. He does not love the gods. He wants them on the books on his side. The way he wants the Senate quiet and the poor tired. A snake from a pillar does not fit on the books. It is the gods sending a letter he cannot read. A man who has lived the way this king has lived has a long list of such letters. He is afraid to open all of them. He calls the Roman seers. He does not believe them. That is the trouble with a man who rules by fear. He cannot trust the men whose job is to comfort him. He knows how a frightened man speaks to a king. He says what the king wants to hear. The king has built a city of people who tell him what he wants to hear. Now he needs the truth, and he has poisoned the well it comes from. So he looks past Rome, past Italy, across the sea to Delphi, to the oracle of Apollo. There the god is supposed to speak to anyone, even a king, and there no one is afraid enough of Rome to lie. Think about what it costs him to do this. The king does not ask anyone for anything. Asking is weakness, and weakness is how thrones change hands. But he cannot read the snake himself, and he cannot trust the men who read snakes for a living, because he has spent years teaching them to lie to him pleasantly. So he has to send across the sea to a god who owes him nothing, and wait months for an answer he is afraid of. It is the one thing his whole reign was built to avoid, being at the mercy of a truth he did not control. The snake has already done something to him before he learns a single word. It has reminded him of something. There are powers in the world that do not care how many senators he has buried. He sends 2 of his sons, Titus and Aaron's. They go as princes go, with gifts and servants and the weight of the question. He sends one more, a nephew, the son of his dead sister. The boy goes along the way a man brings a strange pet to a dinner, to be laughed at between courses. His name is Lucius Junius. The city calls him Brutus. It is not a kind name. It means the dull one, the slow one, the one who is not all there. He earns the name on purpose. Years ago, the same king killed Brutus's brother and took the family's wealth into his own hands. A young man left alive in that house, with that name and that blood, had 2 choices: be a threat and follow his brother, or be nothing, be so plainly nothing that no king would waste a knife on him. Brutus chose nothing. He has been nothing for years. He drools a little when it helps. He laughs at the wrong moment. He lets the princes trip him in the corridor and he gets up smiling. He has made himself so safe that the king forgets he is in the room. That was the seed planted at the start of all this. A man who took a throne by killing knows how a throne is taken. He watches his sons. He forgets the slow nephew. The forgetting was a gift, and Brutus has spent years earning it. He brings an offering to the god, a staff of cornel wood, plain, heavy. The princes carry gold and silver openly, the way you carry what you want seen. Brutus carries a stick. What no one knows is that the stick is hollow. He has bored out its dry center and filled it with gold, then sealed it shut. Wood on the outside, gold on the inside. He carries it the whole way and no one looks twice. Of course, the fool brings a fool's gift. He likes the staff. He likes that it is exactly what he is and no one can see it. He has carried himself in plain sight through years of this house. A dull stick with a heart of gold. It walks past men who would kill for the gold and never bother with the stick. He has been the fool so long that some mornings he wakes and forgets. He has to remember he is one on purpose. The fool is the safest thing to be in a house like this. He has gotten very good at it. Now and then he forgets it is a costume that frightens him more than the king does. A mask you forget you are wearing has stopped being a mask. Delphi sits high on a mountain, in smoke and old stone. A woman there breathes the breath of the earth. She speaks for the god. The princes ask their father's question about the snake. They get an answer about the snake. Then, being young men who have just crossed the world, they ask one more thing. The question all young men in their position ask. Which of us will rule Rome? The god answers through the woman. The next to hold power in Rome will be the one who first kisses his mother. The 2 princes hear it the way 2 princes would. They think of their mother in Rome across the sea. They make a quick bargain between themselves about who gets to her first. They agree to keep it from the 3rd son. He is back home and not here to compete. They are pleased with themselves. They have understood the riddle. They are sure of it. Brutus hears something else. On the way out, on the stone steps of the god's house, Brutus falls. It looks like the fool being the fool. He stumbles, goes down, sprawls. The princes laugh because they always laugh. And as he goes down, his face to the ground, Brutus presses his lips to the earth. The earth, the mother of everything that walks on her. The mother no man has to race across a sea to reach. She is already under his feet, everywhere, all the time. He had worked it out before they ever reached the mountain. That was the other thing about being the fool. A fool has nothing to do but think, and no one watching him do it. While the princes planned their gifts and rehearsed their importance, Brutus turned the question over. The way he turned everything over, looking for the weight inside the wood. A god does not speak the way a man speaks. A god says a true thing in a shape that only the right person will open. The princes heard mother and thought of a woman in a house in Rome. That is what certain men always think of first. Brutus heard mother and thought of the thing every man stands on and no man owns. He did not need to race anyone across a sea. He only needed to fall down at the right moment, in front of people who had already decided he was not worth watching. He gets up brushing dust from his mouth, grinning the grin, the one that means nothing. The princes have already turned away. They did not see it. No one saw it. That is the whole art of him. He did the most important thing of his life in front of witnesses. He arranged for it to look like clumsiness. He thinks, climbing down the mountain behind the laughing princes. The god did not lie. The god never lies. He only tells the truth. People too sure of what they want do not hear it. Brutus has spent years being underestimated. He has learned that the truth hides in plain sight, the way gold hides in a stick. You just have to be the kind of man who looks at the wood and wonders about the weight. They sail home. 2 princes, certain. 1 fool, quiet. The king is waiting for an answer about a snake. He gets one. He does not get the other thing. The thing that happened on the steps. The thing his sons did not even notice. He has spent his whole reign watching the dangerous men. He has built a perfect machine for watching dangerous men. The most dangerous man in Rome has just kissed the ground and gone home. The machine did not so much as turn its head. 5. The wager at Ardea. Ardea is a town with good walls and bad luck. Good walls because the Roman army has sat in front of them a long time and not gotten in. Bad luck because the Roman army has decided to sit there until it does. The king wants Ardea for a plain reason. Money. The town is rich and the king is not. Kings are never as rich as the things they are building. The great temple eats silver. The tunnel under the forum eats silver. A war that ends in a sacked rich town pays for a great deal of stone. So the army sits and waits for Ardea to grow hungry first. And the king counts what the walls are keeping from him. A siege is mostly waiting. Men picture war as the moment 2 lines crash together. Most of war is the months before that. Nothing crashes into anything, and 1,000 men have to find something to do with their hands. They build things that do not need building. They dig and undig. They run races. They gamble away pay they have not been given yet. They learn each other's families, each other's debts, each other's small lies. Men do that when there is too much time and not enough war. The camp becomes its own small town with its own gossip. It sits outside a real town that will not open its gate. Ardea does not look like much from the camp. A wall, a gate, roofs behind the wall, smoke from the roofs. So you know there are people in there, cooking, sleeping, waiting you out. The way you are waiting them out. You stop seeing it as a town after a while. It becomes a fact, like weather. The thing that is not happening. Men come to hate a wall the way they could never hate a man. A man you can fight. A wall just stands there and costs you your year. Some of them have been here long enough to have stopped believing it will ever fall. They are probably right. Ardea will not fall to the siege. It will be saved by something none of them can see coming. A thing about to happen a day's ride away. In a house in Collatia. A thing that will end the war by ending the king. The officers have it easiest and worst. Easiest because they do not dig the ditch or stand the long watch. Worst because boredom is hardest on men who are used to matching. So they drink. There is good wine in the camp, brought up from Rome. There are long evenings to spend it in. There are tents that hold the heat of the day into the night. The king's sons drink with their cousin. His name is Tarquinius Collatinus. He is family in the loose way the royal house counts family. He holds the town of Collatia, a short way from Rome. He is a steady man, not clever, not cruel. The kind of man who marries well and means it. The wine does what wine does. The talk loosens. It goes where men's talk goes late. When there is nothing to win and nothing to lose. When the war will not move. It goes home. It goes to wives. Each man says his wife is the best. Of course he does. That is not a real argument. It is the noise men make. But these are princes, and princes do not let a thing stay noise. They start to compete in earnest. Whose wife is the most beautiful, the most faithful, the most worthy of a man like him? It is an ugly little game when you look at it straight. They are not really talking about their wives. The wives are not in the tent. The wives have no idea they are being weighed. The men are talking about themselves the way men do, using the women as counters. A good wife is proof of a good man. That is the unspoken rule of the contest. So each of them is really arguing that he is the best of them, and using a woman who is asleep miles away to do it. None of them notices the ugliness. Drink hides it. And anyway, it is only talk. Talk in a tent costs nothing. Except that one of them is about to turn the talk into a ride. And the ride into a night, and the night into the end of everything they know. The princes have the most to say. Their wives are daughters of good houses, married into the royal blood. And a prince's wife is a kind of trophy he did not earn but gets to keep. Collatinus says less. He does not boast the way the others boast. When he speaks of his wife, he speaks of small things. What she does, how she keeps his house. The others find this dull. A man who brags about beauty is in a contest. A man who talks about how his wife keeps a lamp lit is not in any contest at all. He has simply already won. He does not seem to know it is the kind of thing to keep quiet. It is Collatinus who turns it from talk into a thing that happens. Stop arguing, he says. Words prove nothing. The horses are right outside. Rome is not far. Let us ride home tonight without word ahead. Let us see with our own eyes what each of our wives is doing. While we are gone, the woman we find best occupied is the best wife. Let her own husband never have to say it again. It is a drunk idea. It is also, in the moment, irresistible. A test you can ride to is better than a quarrel you cannot win. They are young and full of wine and tired of the wall. And here is something to do. They go. They take horses in the dark. No servants. No warning sent ahead. Just a handful of half-drunk men on the road to Rome at an hour when honest people are asleep. The night is cool. The road is empty. They are laughing. It is, for a little while, one of the good nights. The kind men remember from a campaign. Long after they have forgotten the battles. One of the riders says little. Sextus Tarquinius rides near the back. He is not arguing about wives. He is listening. He is the kind of man who is always a little apart. Even in a group. Even drunk. He is apart the way a man is apart who is already somewhere else in his head. No one notices. There is no reason to notice. He is just the quiet one tonight, and there is always a quiet one. His memory of how this works is fresher than the others. The tallest poppy. The thing admired most is the thing that draws the eye. And the eye, in a certain kind of man, is the beginning of the wanting. He does not know yet what he is riding toward. None of them do. That is the cruelty of a good night. You cannot tell from inside it that it is the last one. They reach the city gates before the gates expect anyone. Guards know the princes and let them through. There is something in arriving unannounced at your own home in the dark. You see it the way a stranger sees it. You see what is really there and not what is arranged for you. That is the whole point of the wager. No wife will have had time to compose herself into the picture of a good wife. Each man will see the true thing. Most of them are about to be a little disappointed. One of them is not. Rome comes up out of the dark ahead of them. The 7 hills, black against a sky going gray at one edge. The river, somewhere below, carrying its sound. The smell of the city before you can see it. Smoke and stone. The close press of too many people sleeping. Somewhere in their separate houses, the wives are doing whatever they are doing. They do not know they are about to be judged. One of them is asleep in a warm bed among friends. One of them is at a late table laughing. And one of them, in a house a little apart in Collatia, has a lamp still burning. She has wool in her hands. She has no idea that 6 men are riding through the dark to decide what kind of woman she is. They will reach the city before dawn. They will go from house to house. They will find their answer faster than they expect. It will please exactly one husband. He will be proud of it out loud in front of the others. One of the others is listening. The proud husband does not notice. Men rarely notice who is listening when they are busy winning. 6. The lamp in Collatia. The first houses are easy. The princes go to their own homes first. They live in the heart of the city, where the great families cluster behind good doors. It is late. Should be quiet. It is not. The princes' wives are awake. They are not awake the way a worried wife is awake, listening for a husband's step. They are awake the way young women with money and time are awake. The men are away. The night is long. No one is watching. There is a feast. There is wine. There is music and other young wives. There is the warm, loud business of people enjoying themselves, with no thought of being seen. It is not wicked. That is worth saying. They are not doing anything a young woman should not do. They are laughing in a warm room while their husbands are at a cold wall. On most nights, that would simply be the sensible thing. The good distribution of a bad situation. But this is not most nights. This is a night when the husbands have ridden home in the dark to see. And a husband who walks in on his wife mid-laugh does not feel what he hoped to feel. Wine in her hand. His absence clearly costing her nothing. He feels the small cold thing a man feels when he learns he is not missed. The princes say nothing rude. They are princes. But the contest has shifted under them, and they can feel it shifting. They get back on the horses. There is one more house. Collatia, a little way out, where the steady cousin holds his town. The road runs out of the city and into the dark of the country. There are no feasts here. The only light is the occasional lamp in a farmhouse. That, and the cold scatter of stars. It is very late now. The good-night feeling has thinned. Some of the men want to turn back. Collatinus does not. He is quiet about it, but he wants them to see. He has heard the others boast all evening. He has said little. He would like just once to be right out loud. The house in Collatia is not asleep, but it is not awake the way Rome was awake. There is no music. There is no wine going around. There is one large room, lit by a single lamp, and a circle of women working in it. In the middle is Lucretia. She is the wife of the house. She sits among her servants the way the best of the old wives sat, not above them, in the middle of them, doing the work with her own hands. They are spinning wool. It is the oldest work there is, the work a Roman woman is measured by. They are doing it late by lamplight. There is wool to be made into thread. There is a husband at a war. There is no reason to waste the evening on anything else. The lamp throws its small steady light. The wool smells of the animal it came from, of grease and dust and warmth. The thread runs through Lucretia's fingers, twisting, even, sure. The spindle turns at the end of its thread. Waited, patient, the same motion her mother made, and her mother's mother. Back as far as wool and women go. The other women talk low. She listens more than she talks. The work goes on under her hands without her seeming to think about it. A thing goes on like that when it has been done 10,000 times. There is a kind of beauty in it that has nothing to do with a face. The room is warm. The light is small. The work is endless. And none of it is for show. No one rode out here expecting to be impressed. That is exactly why it impresses. The prince's wives were beautiful in a lit room full of people who could see them. This woman is beautiful in a half-dark room she thought no one would enter. The first kind of beauty is arranged. The second kind is simply true. A certain kind of man can tell the difference at a glance. One of the men about to ride into the yard can tell it better than anyone. It is the worst possible thing for him to be good at. This is a woman at the center of her own house, at the center of her own life. On a night when no one was supposed to be watching, the horses come into the yard, the dogs, the sudden noise of men. Lucretia looks up from the wool. What she does next decides everything, though no one in the room knows it yet. She does not panic. She does not hide. She does not arrange herself. She rises, sees her husband among the strangers, and crosses the room to him. She welcomes him home in the middle of the night, with a war still on. The house is full of his cousins he did not warn her about. She welcomes them too. She gives orders for food and beds the way a good host gives orders. She is gracious to the princes. She is glad to see Collatinus, and she does not hide that either. The contest is over. Everyone in the room knows it. The other wives were caught at a feast. This one was caught keeping her husband's house in the dark. With her own hands, asking nothing of anyone. Collatinus has won. He is too happy to keep quiet about it. No one can blame him. He is right. For a moment it is a happy scene, and it deserves to be one. A man rides home in the dark half hoping, and finds better than he hoped. He is proud of his wife in front of the cousins who spent all evening boasting about theirs. It is a small, human, decent kind of victory, the kind that should end an evening warmly and be forgotten by morning. On almost any night, that is exactly what it would be. A good story to tell at the wall. A thing the wife never even hears about. The tragedy of this night is not that something went wrong in the room. Nothing went wrong in the room. The tragedy is that the wrong man was standing in it. Sextus sees her too. He sees what the others see. The lamp, the wool, the steady hands. The woman at the center of the warm room, gracious and unafraid, belonging completely to the man beside her. The others see a good wife and feel, for a moment, a clean kind of envy. The envy of men who married worse and know it. Sextus feels something with no clean in it at all. He did not tell himself it was desire. There was a better word for what he wanted, and it was not that word. Men always choose a different word. He chose one too, standing in the warm room, watching her pour wine for her husband. He told himself it was admiration. He told himself it was the simple wish to have what his cousin had. He did not tell himself the true thing. Said plainly, even inside his own head, the true thing would have made him a man. A man he was not ready to know he was. The night winds down. The men eat. They sleep, some of them, in the beds Lucretia had made up. Before dawn they ride back to the wall, to the siege, to the long boredom that started all of this. Lucretia goes back to her wool. The lamp burns down. The house settles. She has no reason to think the night meant anything. A pack of her husband's cousins came and went. One of them looked at her a moment too long. But men do that. She is used to it. It has never cost her anything before. She banks the fire. She puts out the lamp. She does not know. Somewhere, riding back through the dark, a quiet man is carrying the picture of her room. He carries it the way another man would carry a stolen thing. He will look at it when he is alone. He will take it out and turn it over. And he will come back. He is the kind of man who comes back for the tallest thing in the room. She sleeps. The house is dark. The wool waits for morning the way it always does. 7. The guest returns. A few days pass at the wall. Nothing changes there. Ardea holds. The wine comes up from Rome. The men dig and undig. To anyone watching, Sextus is exactly what he was. A quiet prince waiting out a slow war. Inside him, the picture will not sit still. He takes it out when he is alone. The lamp, the wool, the woman in the middle of it, gracious and unafraid, belonging to someone else. He told himself that night that it was admiration. The word has worn through. What is under it is older and uglier, and he has stopped pretending he cannot see it. Here is how a certain kind of man reasons in the dark, with no one to argue him out of it. She is the best thing his cousin has. She was held up in front of everyone as the best, the tallest poppy in a garden full of wives. And the lesson Sextus learned young is what you do with the tallest thing. It is the only lesson his father ever really taught him. You do not admire it. You bring it down. Admiration is for men who can live with wanting. Sextus has never been able to live with wanting. He does not think of her as a person who will be hurt. That is the part that makes him what he is. He thinks of her as a thing held up too high. He thinks of himself as the hand that brings high things level. He has done it to a whole city. A woman is smaller than a city. It will be easier. He waits until the logic feels like a decision and not a wish. Then he goes. He leaves the camp the way you leave when you do not want to be marked leaving. Not at night, which draws notice. In the ordinary daylight, on ordinary business. A prince riding out as princes do. No one questions him. No one rides with him. By the time the light goes long in gold, he is on the road to Collatia. Alone. A sword on his hip. A story ready in his mouth. The road he rides is the road they all rode together that good night. It does not feel like that night. He is not laughing now. There is no wager. There is only the steady work of a horse under him. And a thing he has decided to do, getting closer with every mile. The land changes as he rides. The close houses of the city give way to fields, to walls of dry stone, to the long low light of a day ending. He passes farmers going home. They do not know him. To them he is only a rider, a man with somewhere to be. He likes that. He has spent his whole life being a man no one quite reads. And the road lets him be no one at all for a few hours. He thinks about what he is going to do. He has stopped calling it the other words now. There is no one to perform for on an empty road. The thing he wants sits in him plainly, and he does not flinch from it. That is the difference between him and a better man. A better man would flinch. He comes to Collatia in the evening. The same yard. The same dogs, quieter now because they half know him. He is family. That is the thing. He is the Lord's own cousin of the royal house. A guest with a guest's rights. A Roman house does not turn away a guest of the blood after dark. Lucretia receives him exactly as she should. She is glad to see a kinsman. Her husband is at the war, but his cousin is here. Cousin is family. Family is fed and bedded and made welcome. She gives the orders again, the host's orders, the same gracious ease he watched her give before. She does not see what is in him. Why would she? He has spent his whole life being the quiet one no one quite reads. They eat. There is the lamp, the same kind of small steady light. There is the wool somewhere in the room, set aside for the evening. There is talk of the war, of the husband, of small ordinary things. To anyone looking in, it is a kinsman at a family table. Under the table, a thing is coiled and waiting. Only one of the two people there knows it is in the room. She asks after his brothers. She asks whether the war is wearing on him. She tells him a small thing about the household. The kind of thing a host tells a kinsman to make him feel at home. She is being kind to him. That is the part that should be unbearable and is not to him. He takes her kindness and files it away as proof of how unguarded she is. A kind woman is an open door. He has spent a lifetime walking through doors people held open for him. Smiling, never once meaning the smile. She makes up a guest bed for him the way she made up beds for all of them before. She wishes him good rest. She goes to her own room. The house settles into its night the way it did the last time. Lamp by lamp, sound by sound, until there is only the dark, and the small noises a house makes when it thinks everyone is asleep. Sextus does not sleep. He lies in the guest bed in the dark and lets the house go quiet around him. He listens to it the way a thief listens. The last footsteps, the last door, the settling of the fire, the breathing of a house full of people who trust the walls to keep the night out. They do not know the night is already inside. It lies in their best guest bed. It waits for them to stop moving. When the house is fully still, he gets up. He takes his sword. He crosses the dark house he was welcomed into, past the rooms of sleeping servants, to the door of the room where the wife of the house is asleep, alone, her husband a day's ride away at a wall. He stands at the door a moment, not from doubt, from a kind of appetite that likes to wait at the edge of a thing. On the other side of this door is the warm center of the room he watched from across a lamp. The woman his cousin won the wager with. The best thing in the best house. He has crossed a whole night and a whole road to stand here. He is not going to hurry the last few feet of it. He opens the door. She wakes to a weight on the bed and a hand on her and his voice low in the dark. "Be quiet," he says. It is Sextus. She knows the voice. For a moment that is almost a relief. It is family. There must be news and emergency, the husband. Then she feels the sword and the hand and the weight of him. The relief turns to something with no bottom. He tells her what he wants. He says it plainly. He does not dress it up. She says no. She says it the way a woman says a thing she will die before doing. She is not pleading. She is refusing. He puts the sword where she can feel it. "Submit," he says, "or die." She does not move. He has misread her, and for a moment he knows it. Think of the woman who would rather keep her wool by lamplight than laugh at a feast. She does not fear dying more than she fears this. He has threatened her with the one thing she is not afraid of. Death is clean. She would take it. So he reaches for the other thing. The thing his kind always finds, when force alone will not serve. He tells her how it will go if she refuses. He will kill her. Then he will kill a slave. He will lay the slave's body beside hers, in her bed, the two of them together, naked. He will tell the world he found them so. He will tell her husband, her father, all of Rome. He will say the famous good wife of Collatia died in the arms of a slave. He will say a kinsman did the just thing and cut them both down. He says it in pieces. A few words. A pause. A few more. He lets each piece land. She understands it completely. He has found the thing she cannot bear. Not death. She would take death and keep her name. This takes the name too. This makes her death a lie that outlives her. A stain on her husband, on her father, on the house. Forever. With no way left to her to ever say it was not true. A dead woman cannot defend her honor. He is offering to murder not just her body. He is offering to murder the only thing she ever truly owned. The truth about who she was. The lamp in the next room has gone out. The house is dark. Outside, the country is doing what it does at night. The small sounds. The wind in whatever the wind moves. An animal somewhere. The enormous patient indifference of the dark. It does not care what happens inside a single room of a single house. Inside the room there is no sound that the dark will remember. The ceiling does not change. The wool waits in its corner. The spindle resting where she set it down. Time does the only thing time can do. Passes. The dark holds. The house sleeps on, trusting its walls, not knowing. Some things this story will not show you. Not because they did not happen. Because a thing can be true and still not be ours to look at. Turn your face the way the dark turned its face. Wait with the wool. It is over when it is over. Sextus leaves before light. He is pleased with himself, in the low way such men are pleased. He thinks he has done what he came to do. He thinks he has brought the tallest thing level. He thinks he has taken the best thing his cousin had. He thinks he has won a wager no one will ever know he played. He rides back toward the wall in the gray before dawn, with the thing he wanted. He does not understand. He will not understand until it is far too late. He has not taken anything. He has handed her a reason. In the room he left, Lucretia does not sleep. She does not weep, or not the way you would think. She sits up in the wrecked dark and she is very still. It is the stillness of someone who has stopped feeling the small things. A large thing has arrived, and it takes up all the room. The lamp is out. She does not relight it. She sits in the dark with the wool a few feet away. She does the thing she has always done. She thinks it through to the end. What she thinks in the dark is not what they will later say she thought. They will make her a symbol. Symbols do not think. This woman thinks, and what she thinks is practical, and that is the part that should frighten you. She is not asking why. She has already moved past why. She is asking what now, and who must know and in what order, and what they will need from her to do the thing that has to be done. She loved her life. She kept it with her own hands. Now there is one more thing the keeping of it requires. She is working out how to do that too. Dawn comes the way dawn comes, indifferent, gray, then gold. The house begins to wake. Servants move. A bird. The ordinary morning of an ordinary house, arriving on top of a night that broke the world. She has decided something. You cannot see it yet, in the still woman in the dark room. But she has. She is not a woman who waits to be saved. She has never once, in this whole story, waited to be saved. She kept her own house. She made her own welcome. She thought her own thoughts by lamplight while other wives laughed. Now she will send for the men, her father, her husband. She will tell each of them to bring one man he trusts. And she will tell them, when they come, exactly what to do. There is something near her hand, under the bedclothes, that was not there last night. The men, when they come, will not see it. You are not meant to see it clearly yet either. Only to know that the woman in the dark has stopped being only the thing that was done to her. She is becoming the thing she will do. The wool waits. The morning comes on. She sends for them. 8. She sends for them. 2 messengers leave Collatia that morning. One rides for Rome. One rides for the wall at Ardea. Each carries the same short message, and the shortness of it is the first thing she does on purpose. To her father in Rome, come at once and bring a man you trust. To her husband at the war, come at once and bring a man you trust. No reason given, no detail. A wife and a daughter does not summon men like that for a small thing. The shortness is a sound, and the sound is alarm, and she means it to be. Notice what she does not do. She does not send for help. She does not send for a doctor, a priest, a friend to sit with her. She does not send for comfort. She sends for witnesses. She has already decided, in the dark, what this is going to be. What it is going to be needs men who can act. The men who can act are her father and her husband. One trusted man each. A thing this size needs more than one mouth to carry it after. She is not waiting to be saved. She is arranging a room. The father comes from Rome. His name is Spurius Lucretius. He brings a man named Publius Valerius, steady, well-known, the kind of man whose word a city believes. A good choice. A man you would want in a room where something true has to be said and remembered. The husband comes from Ardea. Hard, fast, frightened the whole way. A message like that to a man at war can only mean the worst. He has spent the whole ride building the worst in his head. Fever, a fall, a fire. He has built a dozen disasters and torn each one down and built another. None of the ones he built are the one waiting for him. A man cannot imagine the particular shape of the thing his cousin has done. Not on a hard road in the dark. He does not have the pieces. He will get them in a room all at once, from his wife's own mouth, and they will not fit any of the shapes he made on the road. He brings a man too. The man he brings is the one who happened to be near him, the one who is always near, harmless and familiar, the cousin no one thinks about. He brings Brutus. Of course he brings Brutus. Brutus is safe. Brutus is the slow one, the dull one, good for nothing and dangerous to no one. The kind of man you bring along without thinking. Bringing him along costs nothing. Collatinus is not thinking about who to bring. He is thinking about his wife and a message that has stopped his heart. Brutus is simply there, the way he has made himself simply there for years. And so Brutus comes. No one in the company gives the fool a second look. That is the whole art of him. He has arranged, again, to be in the most important room of his life, and to be the last person anyone is watching. They come into Collatia within hours of each other. They find the house wrong, quiet in the way a house is quiet when something has happened. The servants will not meet anyone's eye. They find Lucretia in her room. She is not spinning wool. That is the first thing. And to the husband it is the loudest thing. He has never once come home and not found her with the wool. She is sitting. She is dressed the way you dress for grief, dark, plain, deliberate. She has arranged herself, not to look beautiful, to look like a verdict. She wanted them to walk in and know before a word, to know they have walked into the worst day of their lives. The men come in, her father, her husband, the two trusted men behind them. The room is small for so much dread. She looks at them one by one. They look at her. No one has said anything yet. Already the husband is shaking. He is shaking because some animal part of him already knows. A man does not need the words to feel the shape of a thing this size coming. He has ridden through a night of imagined disasters. And here, at the end of the ride, is his wife, alive, unhurt as far as he can see, dressed for a funeral, with her father beside her and two grave men in the doorway. None of it fits. Alive and dressed for grief, unhurt and arranging witnesses. The pieces are all wrong, and the wrongness is its own message. And he is reading it before she says a word. He wants her to tell him it is nothing. He can see already that she is not going to. What is it? He says. What happened? Are you hurt? She does not answer the way a hurt woman answers. She answers the way a woman answers who has spent a whole night deciding exactly what to say and in what order. Is it well with a woman, she says, when her honor is gone? She tells them. She does not spare herself and she does not spare them. She names what was done. She names who did it. A guest, a kinsman, their own blood. under their own roof, behind a guest smile. She tells it plainly in order the way you give testimony, because that is exactly what she is doing. She is giving testimony, and she has chosen her witnesses, and she will only say it once. My body was taken, she says. My heart did not consent. Let my death be the witness. There is a fool in the room. He hears all of it. He stands a little back, where fools stand, with the loose, empty face he has worn for years. No one looks at him. No one ever looks at him. But the face is doing something now that no one sees. Behind it, a man who has waited a very long time is listening. He is listening to a woman say out loud a thing he has known in silence for years. He has known it since he was old enough to understand his own family. The house that rules Rome takes whatever it wants, calls it law. It dares anyone to say otherwise. He has been waiting for someone brave enough to say otherwise. He is looking at her. The men do what good men do. They rush to lift the weight off her. It was not your fault, they say. The body was forced. The mind did not sin. You are not to blame. No one will blame you. They mean it. They are right by every decent measure. They are trying to give her the thing that should save her. The truth that she is innocent. She has already thought past it. She listens to them tell her she is blameless. She lets them finish. Then she tells them gently that it does not matter. Not the way they mean. She is not arguing about guilt. She knows she is not guilty. That was never the question she stayed up all night to answer. Here is the question she answered. If she is excused, the world learns something. A woman of Rome can be taken and live. She can be told it was not her fault and go on. And the next man who wants the tallest thing in a room will remember. The cost of taking it is nothing. A word. An apology she is asked to accept. She will not be the reason that becomes thinkable. She would rather be the reason it becomes unthinkable. While they argue with her, while they plead, there is something they do not see. Under her clothes, close to her hand, where it has been since the dark, there is a knife. She brought it to this room on purpose. She has had it the whole time. The men think they are here to comfort her. They think this is a conversation. They think there is still something to decide. She decided in the dark. The knife has been waiting for the witnesses to arrive. The witnesses have arrived. She makes them swear not to forgive her. There is nothing to forgive. She makes them swear something harder. She does not ask them to swear it. She tells them what they will swear. She tells it the way you tell men a thing already decided. There is a strangeness in it. The woman they came to comfort is telling them exactly what oath to take. The strangeness is so complete that they take it. What she has them swear, and what she does the moment the words are out of their mouths. That is the next thing that happens. It is the thing this whole story has been walking toward. Since a king cut the heads off the tallest flowers in a quiet garden. The knife is in the room. The witnesses are in the room. She is ready. She was ready before any of them rode through the gate. 9. The knife she brought, so they swear. It is a strange oath, and they swear it because she has left them no other thing to do. She tells them the words. They say the words back. Her father, her husband, the 2 men they brought. The fool, when his turn comes, says them too. In the fool's flat voice. No one marks it. No one marks anything the fool does. 5 men in a small room, swearing to a woman in dark clothes, swearing they will not let what was done to her stand, that they will have justice, that the man who did it and the house he comes from will answer. She makes them swear it with their hands raised, the old way, the way you swear a thing the gods are meant to hear. She does not let it be vague. Vague oaths are how men get out of things later. She has them name it. The crime, the man, the house. She makes each of them, one at a time, say back to her that they have heard, and that they are bound. She is building something that will hold after she is gone. She does not tell them she will be gone. She just makes very sure the thing is built. She listens to them swear. She watches each face. She is making sure. A woman who has thought a thing all the way through does not take an oath on faith. She takes it on evidence, and the evidence is their faces, and their faces are enough. Then she does the thing she brought the knife to do. It is fast. That is the mercy of it and the horror of it both. There is no speech. She has already made her speech. There is no warning. A warning would have given them time. Time would have given them the chance to stop her. Being stopped was never part of what she decided in the dark. The knife is in her hand before they understand it was ever near her hand. Then it is done. The men do not move. For one breath, too, the room simply cannot take in what it has seen. A woman was speaking to them a moment ago, grave and clear and entirely in command of the room. Now the center of the room is a thing none of them can bear to look at, and none of them can look away from it. Her father makes a sound that is not a word. Her husband goes down beside her. The room comes apart. It is the worst kind of quiet, the quiet after. The kind of quiet a room makes when the thing in it is too large. Too large to be spoken into. The men are undone. Two of them are on the floor. The husband has her name in his mouth, over and over, as if saying it enough times will reach back 5 seconds, as if it could change the order of things. The father has just watched his child decide something, in front of him, that her honor was worth more than her life. She proved it right by her own hand, before he could say a single word to stop her. Grief like that has no use, cannot do anything, can only happen. The room is full of men who loved her. Not one of them can do a thing with what they feel, except drown in it. For a moment the room belongs entirely to that grief. It fills the space the way smoke fills a room, finding every corner, leaving nowhere to stand that is not inside it. The lamp burns. The dark presses on the windows. Somewhere in the house a servant who does not yet know is doing some ordinary evening task. The small sound of it carries in, obscene in its ordinariness, a reminder that the world has not stopped, that it never stops, that it will go on needing dinners cooked and floors swept, on top of the worst thing that has ever happened to these men. Grief always learns that the same way. The world does not pause for it. The world has somewhere to be. Then one man in the room does something with it. The fool steps forward. He goes to her the way the others have gone to her. He reaches down. He takes the knife. He draws it out. He stands up with it in his hand, wet, and he turns to face the broken men. And when he speaks, the voice that comes out is not the fool's voice. He had worn the fool so long he had half believed it. The knife came out of her and the costume came off him in the same motion. No one in the room had known. Some part of him had not been sure either. Enough, he says. The voice stops them. It is low and level and entirely awake. It does not belong to the man they have laughed at for years. Why are you weeping, he says. Weeping is what they want from you. A weeping man stays in his house. He keeps the grief small, where it can be borne, where it changes nothing. He looks around the room at each of them, and there is nothing slow in the look. Get up, he says. We are not going to weep. The men look up. Through their grief, slowly, they understand that something impossible is happening. Brutus, the dull one, the slow one, the cousin no one watches, is standing over the body, the knife held up, and he is not slow. The loose, empty face is gone. What is under it is a man who has been awake behind that face for years, watching, waiting, hiding the way gold hides in a stick. The fool they brought along because he cost nothing knows exactly what to do. He is the only one in the room who does. He has known for a long time. He has been waiting for a reason the whole city could not argue with. She just gave him one. He swears first. He does not swear to grieve. He does not swear to mourn. He holds up the knife with her blood on it. He swears by that blood and by the gods. He swears that he will drive out the king, not punish one prince, not avenge one crime, drive out the king, and his sons, and his whole house, and the thing itself, the crown, the office, the idea that one family stands above the law and takes what it likes. He swears that Rome will never again suffer a king. Not this one, not any, not ever. It is the largest thing anyone has said out loud in Rome in 25 years. To say it is treason. To say it over a body with the blood still on the blade. To say it in front of the men who could hang you for it. That is either madness or the beginning of something. The men in the room feel the difference in their own chests. The fool has just said the unsayable. The roof did not fall. The king did not appear. The words are simply there now in the air. True, said. Impossible to unsay. That is how a thing that could not happen begins to happen. Someone says it and survives the saying. After that, it is only a matter of who says it next. Then he turns to the others, and the strangest thing in this whole strange night happens. The men who have ruled, the father, the husband, the trusted names. They take the knife from the hand of the fool and swear his oath. They follow him. They do not decide to follow him. There is no time to decide. He has simply become, in the space of a few words, the largest man in the room. Grief needs somewhere to go. He has given it a direction. They go where he points because he is the only one pointing. Think how strange this is. From inside their grief. 2 hours ago Brutus was the joke they brought along. An hour ago he was a slow cousin standing in the corner. A real tragedy was unfolding, and he was only furniture in it. Now he is holding the knife and giving the orders, and they are obeying. And some distant part of each of them is registering that they were wrong about him for years. They will have time to feel foolish about that later. There is no time now. He has not given them any. That is the other thing he learned in all those years of watching. When you finally move, you move fast. So fast that no one gets the chance to remember who you used to be. Here is what Brutus understood, that the others, in their grief, could not yet see. Private crime stays private. A husband's grief is a husband's grief. A father's loss is a father's loss. The king has done 1,000 cruelties and survived every one. Each was suffered by one person, alone, in the dark, where the city could tell itself it was not its business. He knows what is behind that wall. He has spent years counting it while pretending to count nothing. The old king, Servius, murdered, and his body left in the street for a cart to run over. The Senate hollowed out, its best men killed or exiled, until it was a room of frightened survivors. The poor pulled off their farms and set to break stone. Stone for the great temple and the long drain under the forum. Honest men would rather have died in a war than live in this peace. Every one of those is a grievance with no place to go. The city has swallowed them year after year. No single one of them could be carried into the open without a name attached. And a name in the open was a death sentence. The anger had everything it needed except a face. This is different. This can be carried. A good woman, the best wife in Rome, named so by her own husband in front of witnesses. Violated under guest right by the king's own son. Dead by her own hand. Dead rather than live with the lie he tried to bury her under. That is not a private grief. That is a thing you can carry into the open. You can set it down in front of the whole city and say, look what they are. Look what they do. Look what it costs to say nothing. Tonight the anger has a face. The best of them. a woman everyone admired, who did everything right, and was destroyed for it anyway. If they can do that to her, they can do it to anyone. That is the thought Brutus needs in every Roman head by morning. He is about to go put it there. He has known, for years, that all of it only needed one crack. In the right place, with the right witness. He did not make the crack. He would never have asked her to, but she has made it with her own hand. And he is not going to waste it on weeping. He gives the orders now. The fool gives the orders, and the lords obey. They will not hide her. They will not wash this away in a quiet house in Collatia and bury it with the family's dignity. They will do the opposite. They will take her up, just as she is. They will carry her out of this house, into Collatia's square. From there to Rome itself, to the Forum, to the open center of the city, where everyone can see. A body in a back room is a tragedy. A body in the Forum is a question. And the question, once it is asked out loud in front of everyone, it is a question the king has no good answer to. They lift her. They carry her out into the light. The fool who is not a fool walks in front with the knife. The household wakes to it. Servants who went to sleep in an ordinary house come out into a corridor. They see their mistress carried past. They see the slow cousin walking in front, holding a blade. Nothing in their lives has prepared them for either sight. Word goes out of the house ahead of the body, the way word does, faster than feet. By the time they reach the square of Collatia, there are people. By the time the people understand what they are looking at, there are more. A body, carried in the open by lamplight, carried by the lord of the town and the dead woman's father. A knife held up like a question. You do not need to be told what it means. You only need to be told whose body it is and what was done and who did it. Brutus is about to tell them. He has been getting ready to tell them for most of his life. Behind them, the house in Collatia falls empty and quiet. The lamp is cold. The wool sits where she left it. The spindle resting. The thread waiting for a hand that is not coming back. The work is unfinished. It will stay unfinished. Some other woman someday will pick up wool in some other house. She will never know the most important thing ever spun in Collatia was not thread. It was a reason, and it is on its way to Rome. 10. The body in the Forum. Collatia is a short ride from Rome. The body comes that distance through the night. The news comes faster the way news does. It jumps ahead from mouth to mouth. It is waiting in the city before the body arrives. By the time they carry her into the Forum, Rome is awake. Not all of it, but enough. Word like this does not let a man sleep. The lord of Collatia is carrying his dead wife into the heart of the city. The king's own son is the reason. And there is a knife. You get out of bed for that. You go and see. The Forum at this hour is a strange place. It is the center of everything. The open ground where Rome does its public business. It is ringed by the temples and the speaking platforms. Ringed by the old stones that have watched the city grow. By day it is full of noise and trade and argument. Now it is filling with something quieter and more dangerous. A crowd that has come not to buy or to argue. A crowd that has come to look at a thing it has been told it must see. They set her down where everyone can see. They do not hide her. That was the decision made in a small room in Collatia, and they hold to it now. The best wife in Rome, laid out in the open, in the center of the city, in front of anyone who cares to come and look. Look at what the king's house does to the people it rules. A crowd gathering around a body is its own kind of weather. You can feel it change. First there is shock, the indrawn breath, the not quite belief. Then there is the murmur, the question passing back through the press of people. Who is it? What happened? Is it true? Then, under all of it, beginning to move, there is the thing Brutus rode here to wake. The men stand around her. the father, the husband, the trusted names, and the cousin who is not standing the way a cousin stands. He is standing the way a man stands when he is about to take ground, the most important ground of his life. He steps up where the city can see him. He begins to speak, and the first thing the crowd notices is that the fool is gone. They knew him. That is the strange power of the moment. Half the people in that forum had laughed at Brutus at one time or another. The dull nephew of the king, the slow one kept around for sport. And here he is, speaking in a voice none of them has heard. Clear and hard and terrible. The gap between the man they thought they knew and the man in front of them is wide. Too wide to look away from. He does not begin with grief. He begins with her. He tells them who she was. Not a stranger. A Roman wife of a good house, known for exactly the things Rome claimed to honor in a woman. He tells them what was done to her, plainly, the way she told it in the room, sparing nothing and dressing nothing up. He tells them she is dead by her own hand, and why and what she chose and what she refused. The crowd takes it in. You can hear them take it in. They knew of her, some of them. A name like hers travels. The good wife of Collatia, the one her own husband bragged about, the one who kept the lamp lit. The story of the midnight ride had gone around the city the way such stories do. Half envy, half admiration. Now the woman in the story is lying in front of them, dead. And the prince who looked at her too long is the king's own son. There is a distance between the story they enjoyed and the body they are looking at. That distance is the thing Brutus needs them to feel. He lets them feel it. He does not rush. A man who has waited years for a moment knows how to let a silence do his work. Then he does the thing that turns a funeral into a revolution. He does not stop at her. This is one night, he tells them. One woman. One crime. But ask yourself, he says, whether it is the only one. He begins to count. Not quickly. He lets each one land. He reminds them of the old king, Servius, who was not a tyrant, murdered on this king's road to the throne. He reminds them whose order ran the body over in the street, whose daughter rode the wheel across her own father. He reminds them the lane still carries the name of that crime. He reminds them of the Senate, the fathers of the city killed or driven out, until the Council of Rome was a room of frightened men. Men who agreed with whatever the king wanted. The alternative was death. He reminds them of their own backs, the free men of Rome, taken off their land and set to break stone, year after year, for the king's great temple and the king's long drain. Work fit for the conquered, he says, given to the free. A Roman would rather have fallen in battle than live in the king's peace. Each thing he names, the crowd already knows. That is the point. He is not telling them news. He is telling them out loud in the open in the center of the city. He is saying the things every one of them has known, the things they have swallowed and been afraid to say. And with every one, the silence in the forum gets heavier, until it stops being silence. You can hear the moment a crowd stops grieving and starts deciding. It is not a sound any one person makes. It is the sound of many people at the same moment, arriving at the same place. The murmur becomes a growl. The growl finds words. The words find a direction. Brutus has given them the direction. He has stood over the best of them and named the crimes of the house that did it. He has not asked the city to mourn. He has asked the city a question. How much longer? How much more? What will it take if this is not enough? And the city begins to answer. It is gathered around the body of a woman who decided her honor was worth her life. There is a particular danger in a crowd that has found its voice, and Brutus knows both halves of it. A crowd can tear a man apart in an afternoon and feel righteous doing it. It can also forget by evening what it was so sure of at noon. Anger is loud and short. He has not waited his whole life to start a riot. A riot the king could outlast the way he has outlasted everything. So he has to do the harder thing in the middle of all that heat. He has to turn a feeling into a fact. A feeling fades. A fact, once a city has said it out loud together, is very hard to take back. That is what he reaches for next, while the crowd is hot enough to reach with him. Here is where Brutus shows the years of thinking behind the fool. A crowd that is angry is a fire. A fire burns out. He does not want a fire. He wants a change that holds when the anger cools. So he does not let the crowd merely rage. He gives the rage a thing to do that will still be standing in the morning. He moves in front of all of them to take something from the king. The one thing a king cannot do without. Not his life yet, his power. The authority the city granted, the city can take back. Brutus says it in those terms because those are the terms that will outlast the grief. The king holds Rome by the city's sufferance. The city is withdrawing it. Tonight, here, in the open, by the voice of the people, in the place where the people's voice is law. He is not alone when he says it. That matters, and he knows it matters. Lucretius is there, the dead woman's father, a name the city respects. Collatinus is there, her husband, of the royal house himself. That makes this not the envy of outsiders. It is a breach inside the king's own circle. Valerius is there, steady, believed. The fool has arranged, even in this, to be surrounded by the right men. Men whose presence makes a wild thing look like a lawful one. The city moves. Not all at once, not neatly, but it moves. The decision passes through the crowd a certain way. The way a decision passes through people who have all, privately, already made it. They only needed someone to say it first. And to survive the saying. The king's power in the city of Rome is revoked by the voice of the people in the forum. It is, of course, only words. The king is not in Rome to hear them. He is at the wall at Ardea with the army, where kings are dangerous. Words in a forum do not stop a king with soldiers. Brutus knows this better than anyone. He has not finished. He has only opened the door. There are two things still to do, and he is already thinking about both. The king is coming. When word reaches Ardea, and it will, the king will turn his army around. He will ride for Rome to take back what was taken. The city has to be ready to shut its gate in his face. That is one. And the king's sons are scattered. One of them is the reason a body is lying in the forum. That one, in particular, has a debt that the knight is going to collect. That is two. The body lies in the open. The city has spoken. Somewhere on the road from Ardea, a king is about to be told. A king who does not yet know he has lost everything. The gates of Rome are waiting to close. 11. The gates close. There are now two pieces of news riding for the same army. Everything turns on which one arrives first, and in whose mouth. One is the king's if he learns it. The other is Brutus's, and Brutus does not wait. While the body still lies in the forum, while the city is still finding its voice, he is already moving. He knows the war is not won in a square in Rome. It is won or lost at the wall at Ardea where the army is. The army is the only thing the king has left that can hurt them. So Brutus rides for the camp. He means to get there first. He means to be the voice the soldiers hear it from. Word of Rome reaches Ardea the way such word does. Ragged, partial, terrifying. The king hears that something has happened in the city. He does not yet know how bad. He does what a king does. He leaves the war and rides for Rome to put his hand back on his capital. And so, on the roads between the wall and the city, they pass each other. The king and the man who has come to end him, going opposite ways by different roads in the dark. Neither one stopping the other. Each racing for the thing the other has just left. It is one of those moments history likes. Two men, two roads, the whole future hanging on who reaches which gate first. The king reaches Rome. He comes up to his own city, the city his family has held for generations, the city he rules. He expects it to open to him, the way a thing you own opens to you. He has done this 1,000 times. The gate is a formality. The city is his. The gate is shut. There is a particular silence to a city that has decided something. The king sits his horse before the wall of Rome, and the wall does not answer him. The men on it are men he knows, or thinks he knows, men of his own city. They look down at him over the stone, and they do not open the gate. Word has come ahead of him. The thing in the forum has done its work. The city that has swallowed his cruelties for 25 years has, in a single night, decided to stop. And it has decided while he was at a wall many miles away, arguing with a town that would not fall, never once imagining that the thing which would fall was him. He argues. Of course he argues. A king does not understand a closed gate. He sends his voice up at the wall, demands, threatens, reminds them who he is. The wall is not moved. You cannot threaten a city that has already chosen. It is more afraid of you staying than of you angry. He has spent his power. He simply does not know it yet. He is like a man who has stepped off a cliff, still walking for a moment on nothing. The gate stays shut. Rome has closed its door on its king. Meanwhile, at Ardea, Brutus has done the other half. He comes into the camp not as a fool. He comes as the man from the forum. The news and the body's meaning and the city's decision are behind him. He tells the soldiers what was done. He tells them what Rome has chosen. Then he says the thing that turns an army. These soldiers are not the king's men. That is the secret a tyrant never quite believes until the end. They are Rome's men. They are the same free farmers who were pulled off their land to break stone. They have wives and fathers and houses inside the walls that just shut the king out. The king thought the army was his because it obeyed him. Obedience is not loyalty. It is only what loyalty looks like until the price of obeying gets higher than the price of stopping. Brutus has just changed the price. He offers them the other side of the choice out loud. The side they have each turned over in private. The side they never dared say. A day ago the army was the king's last and strongest thing. Now it looks at the man offering it a different future. And it goes over to him. The king rides back from a gate that would not open. He learns that the wall was only the first thing he lost. The army is the second. He has, in the space of a night and a day, become something small. A man with a crown and a title, and nothing under either of them. So the king does the only thing left to a king with no city and no army. He runs. He takes what family he can gather and he goes into exile. Out of Rome. He will spend the rest of his long life trying to get back what he lost. One dead woman took it from him in a single night. He will fail. He will scheme. He will beg foreign kings for armies. He will come close more than once. He will never get back in. The man who feared only his own bloodline, who cut down every tall thing around him. He ends as an old man at someone else's table, telling someone else's court how Rome used to be his. It is a strange way for a tyranny to die. No great battle. No last stand on the palace steps. The most frightening man in Rome simply rode up to a wall one morning, and found that the thing he ruled by had quietly stopped agreeing to be ruled. Power, it turns out, was never a thing he owned. It was a thing other people agreed to let him hold. For as long as the holding frightened them more than the stopping, the night in Collatia changed the arithmetic. Once enough people were more afraid of him staying than of removing him, the crown was already gone. He just had to ride to a gate to find out. That is the end of the kings of Rome. Not in a battle. In a closed gate and an army that simply walked away. But there is one account still open. The story has not forgotten the man who started this particular night. Sextus does not run with his father. The sources are not all of one mind about where he went. But the one Rome kept, the one that fits, sends him to Gabii. Gabii. Remember Gabii. Remember the young man who rode into that city. He pretended to be a victim of his own father. He won its trust with a long and patient lie. He made himself its first man. Then he sent home a question, and he watched his father answer it. The answer was a walk through a garden, cutting the heads off the tallest flowers. Sextus is the one who delivered Gabii to his father. Sextus is the one who turned its trust into its ruin. And now, with Rome shut against his family and the world coming apart, Sextus goes to Gabii. Perhaps because he thinks it is still his. Perhaps because a man who has only ever taken cannot imagine the rest. He cannot imagine that a place he once owned would not take him back. He goes to the city he betrayed, looking for shelter, as though betrayal leaves no mark. Gabii remembers. Of course Gabii remembers. The men of that city have spent years living with what he did to them, with the leaders he had killed by a silent signal, with the freedom he talked them out of. He cut them down once, the tallest of them, on a sign from a man in a garden. Now he walks back in among the ones who were left standing, the ones who remember exactly whose hand cut their fathers down. They settle the account. The story does not dwell on it, and neither will we. It is enough to say one thing. He taught a whole city what his family does to the tallest things. He did not leave Gabii alive. The poppies he helped cut back. He went looking for a place that owed him loyalty. He found a place that owed him a death. And the place paid what it owed. There is no need to make a lesson of it. The shape is the lesson. A man learns young that you bring the tall things down. He brings down a city. He brings down a woman. And the city he brought down is, in the end, exactly the ground that brings him down. The lesson his father taught him in a garden was true the whole time. He simply never understood that he was standing in the garden too. So by the end of it, the count is settled. The king in exile, clawing at a gate that will never open. Sextus, dead in the city he betrayed. The crown gone, not passed to another head, but abolished. The office itself struck out, so that no one man would ever again stand above the law of Rome. No one man would ever again take what he liked. And Rome, the morning after, is a different thing than it was. It has no king. It has, instead, the beginning of something. A long, difficult, glorious, bloody experiment. One it will spend the next 500 years arguing about. It does not know yet how hard the thing it has chosen will be. Tonight it only knows what it has refused. One lamp went out in Collatia, and the whole shape of the world bent around the place where it had been burning. 12. What the lamp saw. The morning comes to Rome the way every morning comes. It does not know what happened in the night. The light finds the same hills, the same roofs, the same river going by below the city the way it always goes by. Smoke from the morning fires. Bread somewhere. A dog. The ordinary machinery of a city waking. Indifferent to one fact. The city it is waking is not the same one that went to sleep. There is no king now. That is the strange new fact under the ordinary morning. For as long as anyone in the streets has been alive, there has been a king. Now there is not. The thing that felt permanent turns out to have been only old. Old is not the same as permanent, though it can fool you for a lifetime. Rome has to decide what to put where the king was. This is the part that could have gone wrong. A city that throws out one strong man very often only clears the ground for the next strong man. The crowd in the forum was angry enough, the night before, to have handed everything to Brutus. He had the body. He had the voice. He had the moment. A lesser man or a worse one takes it. He does the opposite. He takes the king's power and he cuts it in half. Rome does not choose one man to stand where the king stood. It chooses two. Two men equal, each able to stop the other, neither one able to become what was just driven out. And they will not hold it for life. They will hold it for a year, then hand it on, so that no one grows into the office the way a king grows into a crown. The whole design is built around a single fear, learned in a single night. Never again one man, alone, above the rest, taking what he likes. Brutus is one of the two. Of course he is. The fool who was nobody. The man who spent his whole life being the one no one watched. He is now one of the two men who replace a king. The other is Collatinus, the husband, the man whose wife is the reason any of this happened. There is a kind of justice in the pairing, and a kind of grief. The story does not separate them. They did not separate in life. The two men who carry the new thing are the two men who carried her body. They built a republic on a funeral. They will spend the rest of their lives finding out what they built. Some of it will turn on them. That is later. That is other episodes. Brutus stands in the forum as one of the first two men of a free Rome. He does the thing he has done his whole life. He watches. The face that fooled a city for years is still capable of being read by no one. He uses it now to look out over the thing he has made. He uses it to count privately what it cost. He does not look like a man who has won. He never will again. He spent so long being the fool that the fool became a kind of safety, a place to stand where nothing could reach him. He has given it up. He will not get it back. From now on every eye in Rome is on him. The man who threw out the king. There is no costume left to hide behind. He traded the safety of being underestimated for the danger of being seen. He knew the price when he picked up the knife. He paid it anyway. He has sons. He does not know it yet, sitting in the cool of his first morning. But the thing he started will come for them too, and he will be the one who has to answer it. He built a republic on the idea that no family stands above the law. He does not get to make an exception for his own. That is also later. The morning does not tell him. Mornings never do. And in Collatia, in the house where it began, the morning comes to an empty room. No one has tidied it yet. There has not been time. The bed where she sent for the men. The floor where the men knelt. The marks of a night that changed the world. In a room small enough to cross in 4 steps. The light comes in low through the window. It lays itself across the floor the way light does, not caring. It finds the wool in the corner. It finds the spindle. It finds the small ordinary things of a woman's day, left exactly where her hands left them. The lamp is on the table. It is out. It burned through the worst of the night. At some point no one marked. It ran dry and went dark. The way a lamp does, without ceremony, the oil simply gone. It is a small clay thing, a vessel of clay, nothing more. It held the only light in the room while the thing that remade Rome happened around it. And no one looked at it once. That is what the lamp saw. It saw a woman spin wool by its light on an ordinary evening, while other wives laughed at a feast across the miles. It saw a guest welcomed. It saw the guest become something else. It saw her sit in the dark afterward and think a thing all the way through to the end. It saw the men come. It saw what she did. It saw them carry her out into a morning she had decided not to see. Saw all of it. And it cannot tell anyone. So the telling falls to us. A very long time later. In a different language, in a different world. A world that owes more than it knows to a night in a small house. And to the woman who would not let it be a private grief. The room is quiet now. The light moves across the floor and finds the wool and warms it and moves on. Somewhere a long way off, a city is learning to live without a king. Here there is only the empty room, the cold lamp, the unfinished thread waiting on a spindle, waiting for a hand that has gone where hands go. It will wait a long time. The thread does not know it is finished. Some things do not need to know. Writer's note: I do not read Lucretia as a victim. A victim is taken by surprise. She was not. She sent for the men first. She told them what to swear. And the whole time, there was a knife under her clothes, close to her hand. You do not bring a knife to a room unless you have already decided what it is for. The men thought they were comforting her. She was giving them their orders. She did not wait to be saved. Waiting means you have already chosen something. Next time, the Tiber in flood. A bridge that has to come down while a man is still standing on it.